only highlight three elements of how we believe we can increase and improve our collective work to manage the Central Mediterranean route. One, increase the training of the Libyan Coast Guards. This is essential because the losses of lives we see are more and more in the territorial waters of Libya, and so it is a Libyan responsibility to prevent these losses of lives and to dismantle the traffickers' networks on the Libyan coasts and in the Libyan waters. So we are ready to help, to train, to support, in a sense of partnership, empowering and enabling the Libyan authorities to manage to do this work. And we're doing that already, but the proposal is to increase significantly the training of the Libyan Coast Guards. Second element, the work on the southern borders of Libya. Here again, we have started already a work trying to facilitate a common approach between Libya, Chad and Niger in particular, managing a complicated border through which migrants enter Libya, but that is also a sensitive border in terms of security for the neighbors of Libya to the south. We have, as you know, or as you might know, a presence there with missions and operations of the European Union that we are regionalizing so that we can provide more support to monitor and manage the southern border of Libya better from the inside and from the outside. Third element I would mention shortly is the important work that we can do to support the IOM and the UNHCR in their capacity or possibility to work inside Libya. We know very well that the situation of the migrants that are currently present in the country is a very serious one that needs to be tackled with the highest standards when it comes to human rights. By the way, human rights is always part of our programs, including the training of the Coast Guards in Libya. Human rights, and with a particular attention to women's rights, if I can underline this aspect, that is very important given the composition of the flows. But we've discussed and I've met in these last weeks both Filippo Grandi and the Director General of the IOM, Mr. Swing, to see how the European Union can support more both IOM and UNHCR in order for them to work more, to have more access, to work better inside Libya. That would be, for us, the only guarantee that international standards are met, lives are protected, and the management of the flow inside the country is done properly. Obviously, there are complicated issues to tackle, including security, and this is why we are working together, both, as I said, with the Libyan authorities, with Prime Minister Sarraj, but also with the municipalities, with Martin Kobler for the UN, with Grandi and with Swing, to see how we can more effectively allow them to work in this respect. I will finish by saying a general principle that guides us is, first of all, strengthening the Libyan authorities and their capacity to operate, and doing this in a sense of partnership. Respect and partnership is our guiding principle, as it is for our work with the compacts with our African partners. The same goes in this case, because we see a shared responsibility. We are here to help, we are here to support, we are here to do our part. We also need others to do their own part, but again, the sense is that of working together, each with our responsibilities and limits, but together to try and save lives, because we see people dying in the Mediterranean. There are so many other stories we don't see or we don't hear, still they exist, and we have the human duty, moral duty, to prevent these terrible sufferings.
Good afternoon, Mark Beberkorn, Volkskrant, Netherlands. It's a question actually for both of you. I don't know who can give me the answer. In the proposal of the Commission says it will would like to see 200 million for all the measures for the whole package, which is quite a modest amount of money compared to the 8 billion, for example, or 6 billion, I'm sorry, which is earmarked for Turkey. So could you tell us maybe how much money the Commission hopes, expects the member states to come up with to support this package? Thanks.
That's the trick of being in the center. First of all, I would like to clarify the fact that the numbers you're referring to are not properly precise, because the amount of money that we have, as you said, earmarked, or in some cases already delivered for the support to the Syrian refugees in Turkey is not 6 but 3 billion euros. Then the two situations cannot be compared, and it is not by chance that neither Dimitris or myself referred to something that we have seen in the media in the last weeks, some ideas or some readings of work ongoing to have something parallel, if not even inspired by the EU-Turkey deal. The two situations are completely different. The two countries, two main countries, are completely different. The composition of the flow is completely different, and the set of measures are completely different. So there is no comparison that can be done. The two things are completely distinct, one from the other. In terms of money allocated, this is the envelope we put. This is the amount of money we put for the table for this year. And by the way, this is also another difference. The money for Turkey, as you know, was on more years. And by the way, the money was not, and is not for Turkey, but for the Syrian refugees. In this case, we have this package of 200 million euros that goes on top of a lot of other measures and other funds that we have and that we are currently using for other initiatives that are currently underway. As you might know or remember, we have a 100 million euros package of funds that we are currently using to assist Libya and Libyan authorities on a different set of issues that do not relate strictly to migration management, but with improving the situation on the ground in Libya, which is also somehow related to the overall objective of creating stability and trying to promote peace in the country. When it comes to the funds we have the other instruments that were launched, for instance, at the Valletta Summit, the trust funds, and as I shortly referred to the external investment plan, this is something that can be probably not for Libya, but for other countries of the northern part of Africa, resources that could be used, merging private and public investments for creating development and job creation. But apart from that, the precise question was about expectations on the money from member states. I guess I cannot anticipate expectations. What I would like to say is that some member states are already, to my knowledge, are already investing or working bilaterally on this with, by the way, measures and initiatives that fit very well in this framework, common European Union framework.